Welcome back, my students. Dr. Oogway here. This is the video 8 from the playlist of the diagrams. And today we are going to learn how to draw the diagram of the boundaries of inferior horn of lateral ventricle. This diagram is figure 9.9 in BDC. Very easy and simple diagram. Let's try to learn how to draw this diagram. Clearly, from the previous lectures, we know what is the shape of the lateral ventricle. So this right here is the lateral ventricle. And this part of lateral ventricle, this shaded portion, is called the inferior horn of lateral ventricle. Clearly, this inferior horn of lateral ventricle, it is the largest horn of lateral ventricle, and it extends in temporal lobe, into temporal lobe. Clearly, now this inferior horn of lateral ventricle, now we will draw its boundaries. So the diagram we are going to draw is the inferior horn of lateral ventricle in its coronal section. Let's learn how to draw the diagram. First, we will make a C-shaped structure like this. Clearly, after making a C-like structure, we'll make three concavities. This is the first concavity, this is the second concavity, and this is the third concavity. After making these three concavities, the two endpoints of this diagram, we'll join the two endpoints of this diagram like this. Clearly, after joining the endpoints of the diagram, we'll make a structure right here, a slab-like structure. Clearly, we'll make another structure right here, another slab, a small slab, and we'll make another structure right here. Clearly, and in the C we make small circles like this, and here we'll make a big circle like this. Clearly, then we'll make a snake-like structure in this manner. Clear? And it will be followed by another line like this. And in the front of this snake-like structure we make this diagram, we make this structure. So this diagram is the boundaries of the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. Now we will name the different structures in this diagram. This cavity right here, it is the inferior horn of lateral ventricle in its coronal section. This structure right here, it is tapetum. This structure right here is tail of caudate nucleus. This structure right here is straterminalis, and this structure right here is choroid plexus. This structure right here is fimbriae. This structure right here is dentate gyrus, and this structure right here is hippocampus, and this structure right here is collateral eminence, and this structure right here is collateral sulcus, and this structure right here is temporal lobe. Clearly, in this diagram, the three structures, the tapetum, tail of the caudate nucleus, and straterminalis. So tapetum, tail of caudate nucleus, and straterminalis, these three structures form the roof and lateral wall of inferior horn. So this is the inferior horn, its lateral wall and roof is formed by tapetum, tail of caudate nucleus, and straterminalis. Similarly, its floor of inferior horn of lateral ventricle inferior horn of lateral ventricle is formed by collateral eminence and hippocampus. So floor is formed by collateral eminence and hippocampus. Clearly, so this is all about the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. Thank you very much.